be honest with yourself for a second. How much of what you're doing at work right now is actually working? That question came up again and again at Insights EDU last year. You guys already know this isn't your typical higher ed conference. And I've got to be honest, I've been to a lot of higher ed events, and Insights EDU is just different. The conversations are direct, the sessions are outstanding, and the people in the room are there to fix real problems, not defend the status quo. That's why Insights EDU 2026 matters. It's 3 days in Fort Lauderdale, February 17 to 19, focusing on real strategy for higher ed. No fluff, no recycled playbooks, just what works now. You can keep wasting time with what feels safe, or you can get in the room where smarter decisions are being made. Register today at insightsedu.com.
You just made the list!
Ellucian Live 2026, April 19th through 22nd in beautiful Denver, Colorado, advancing infinite possibilities. And it's higher education without limits. Don't just keep up with change, lead it. Higher education leaders from around the world are coming together at Ellucian Live 2026. Across 4 unforgettable days, discover new ways to meet students where they are and make the most of your technology through inspiring sessions and hands-on demos. Together, we're leveraging AI to create deeper human connections, support every student's journey, and open doors to lifelong learning. See you in Denver. Register now at elive.ellucian.com. It's going to be
amazing.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, but we make education your business. This is Elvin Freitas, co-founder of the EdUp Experience. We are back on another episode with my co-host, who I haven't had it on for a little bit. So it's nice to have you back on. And you were on before. You get to co-host with Jody. Now you're back on with me. So it's good to have you back. Darius Goldman, founder and CEO at Career Bond. Stop waving, Darius. This is audio only, dude.
Can't help it.
It's like a reaction, man. It's unbelievable. It happens every single time. Let's get our guest in. He is Pierre the Book. I think it's the book. Sorry, the book. He is the co-founder and CEO of OpenClassrooms. Pierre, come on. Pronounce your last name right for me, because I know I killed it. I'm so sorry.
Pierre the Book. Yeah, it was very good. Hi, Alvin. Hi, Darius. Good to be here.
Oh, thanks for being here. I appreciate that. I mean, I destroy names and I'm just known for that. So not just yours, Pierre. You're not special. I'm just kidding. All right, Pierre. So let's get right into it. We want to know all about Open Classrooms. What do you do? How do you do it? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the founder and the CEO of OpenClassrooms. Started this business about 15 years ago. We are a mission-driven company, public benefit corporation. We're B Corp certified. And our mission is to make education accessible, education leading to jobs. So I started this journey actually when I was in college with my co-founder, Mathieu. We created online courses. We published online for free. It was not a business. Our intent was to help some friends and friends of friends. We build online courses the way we wish we had them in school. And then from there, it became the reference platform to learn coding in French-speaking countries, because I was born in France. And it became really popular. So I had like colleagues and friends using the platform. From there, at the end of our studies, we decided to make it our full-time job and build an online college out of it. So this is how we started. The goal of OpenClassrooms is to train people and place them in the workforce. So that's how we track our social impact. Last year, we trained and placed 43,000 students in the workforce. That could be for a first job. That could be for a new job, a promotion, salary increase, starting your own company, that kind of stuff. So we're not just after, 18 years old, but we have many people in their, career switchers and people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, switching careers and getting promoted thanks to OpenClassrooms.
So, all right, I'm only allowed one follow-up, but I have so many. I'm sure Darius is going to follow, because you talked over a few things that you just made it sound so easy. Oh, we just started a company. It's very hard to start a company, man. So,
it is.
So I'm gonna go through that. But here's what I want to know. You said it's a public benefit company. Public benefit company. What does that mean? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, the traditional status of a company is what we call a C Corp. The role of a C Corp is essentially to maximize profits for shareholders. That's kind of the baseline of any like standard company in the world. A public benefit corporation or B Corp, slightly different. Shareholders are one of the many stakeholders of the company, but essentially, PBC is a mission-driven company. The company has a mission. Our mission is defined in our bylaws, is to make education accessible, and we have many different stakeholders. Shareholders, definitely one of them. But we also have students, we have employers, we work with governments, etc. And essentially, our mission is to make education accessible. So the main goal is not to maximize profits for shareholders, but it's to make education accessible. To do that, obviously, we need to bring back money to our shareholders. We need to maximize impact with regards to students and employers and governments, etc. So essentially, we take care of all of the stakeholders around the model at Open Classrooms, not just shareholders.
Wow, cool. I love that. That makes sense. I appreciate that. That actually makes sense to me. I understand what that means. Sometimes people explain it, I still don't get it, but that makes sense. Darius, over to you.
I mean, there's a lot I'd love to talk about. I'll let you change the topics, but 15 years, I want to talk about that just to begin with. In the age of ed tech startups, of MOOCs, and then big names that I don't need to mention that rocket ship to explode, 15 plus years, that alone could be the topic of the entire podcast. What's your take on your tenure or your ability to survive or the evolution?
Yeah, it's been a long journey, right? So we've been through so many different challenges. You mentioned like the MOOC wave. We were technically, in Europe, one of the first like MOOC platforms, whatever that means, like massive open online courses. So we had free online courses since the early 2000s. And from there, like now we're talking about AI impacting education. We talked about switching to mobile in the past. So many challenges in education. I think for us, one of our core values at Open Classrooms is we persist. So this idea of resilience and adaptability is really critical. I think when you do entrepreneurship, you go through so many highs and lows, and you need to adapt. You need to change very quickly sometimes. So that's how we are here. We're still here and standing. So yeah, adaptability, resilience, but also not getting lost in those challenges to make sure that we stay true to our mission to make education accessible, to make sure that, we might make some turns on the way, but the direction remains the same to make education accessible and to bring students into the workforce. That's really important to us.
So you stick to the North Star. North Star is access
Exactly.
to education, access to workforce training, which I admire candidly. Could you talk a little then about, in today's iteration of Open Classrooms, how you actually accomplish that? So we know the mission, but how do you actually accomplish the mission in today's iteration of a 15-year-old company?
Absolutely. So what we do is we train on jobs and skills in high demand. And we're an accredited higher education institution, which means that we build the technology, the content, we have accreditation, we can grant degrees. That means associate bachelor's and master's degrees aligned to jobs in high demand. So this is what we do. How do we do that? We start with employer needs. So we start with employer needs. That means like which jobs are employers hiring on right now. So talk about like job postings. We analyze job postings. Then we focus on jobs in high demand. Then we understand and analyze which skills employers need behind those jobs. And this is how we build and design new curriculum. So say we realize that there's a lot of demand in AI and cybersecurity because there are so many job postings and employers cannot fulfill them. Then we design a curriculum based on those specific skills, and we map it to a degree. So this is how we build content in new programs. At the end of the day, a student will sign up on OpenClassrooms and will be trained online by OpenClassrooms on what we call a competency-based education model. So that means that they're going to work on projects, so real-life case studies. So it's very practical. You have access to courses to learn the skills to complete those projects. And then you have one-on-one mentorship with your mentor. The mentor is an industry practitioner. So if you study, say, cybersecurity, you're going to have the chief, cybersecurity at a company or cybersecurity expert essentially coaching you on a one-on-one basis every week. So you're going to complete your projects. You're going to defend them so we can check that you have the skills employers need and require on this job. And then at the end, you'll get your degree. So that's how we train on skills and jobs in high demand.
And then since you're accredited, you're creating your own curriculum. You're not acquiring it from a third party.
Exactly. We're creating everything from scratch. So we have studios, we produce videos, text content, exercises, projects, and we're accredited. So we have our own faculty and network of mentors as well. So we do it all. It's a fully integrated model. We build also the technology, the platform itself. We have many partnerships with universities and community colleges. So it's really critical to us to offer a very smooth end-to-end experience to our students and employers.
How big is the internal team?
We're about 200 employees and 1,500 mentors. We train, as said, right now we probably have about 5,000 degree students, 20,000 certificate students in a given year. Last year we placed 43,000 students in the workforce.
So I love what you just said. You just said 5,000 degree students and 20,000 certificate students. I'm gonna use that door and open it up and walk right into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk. And I was waiting for this. Okay, great. Let's talk about the modern learner and that divide between, do you need a degree or do you need a certificate? I would love your take on that, given the volume and the tenure that you have in this industry.
Yeah, I mean, we believe that you need skills more than anything else, and the right skills to get a job and to be efficient and really high performing employee. The question is, which skills? How do we make sure that this talent, this profile, this candidate has the skills an employer requires, and how do you signal that to the market, right? Right now, the majority of job postings actually require a college degree. That's just a fact. So you might dislike that. Honestly, I don't like it. I would rather have employers describe their job posting and their job requirements in terms of skills, because there are many ways to demonstrate skills. A degree or certificate could be one of them. There are other ways. So that's my preference. Now, the reality is a lot of employers require degrees. So that's why we went into accredited programs and making sure that we can signal to the market that our graduates and students have the right skills to get hired. It's a strong signal to the market, high quality programs here. I do believe in certificates, and I think it's a good signal. It's obviously a less strong of a signal compared to a degree. It's really useful for existing employees and already in the job. So it really depends what you're trying to achieve here. If it's upskilling, so short training programs, I think the certificates work really well. Now, if you're learning a new job, like from A to Z, learning your first job, I do think right now, in the vast majority of job postings, you'll need a degree.
So it's interesting that you say that. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think it's unfortunate, the statement that majority of job postings require a degree, but they really want skills. So
Exactly.
show me the degree, but I just really care about the skills. I think that's a statement more towards the broader educational complex, definitely not against OpenClassrooms, because you guys are doing terrific work. I personally think that if we could move towards what's the appropriate way to demonstrate a skill, then that could become the replacement for a degree. Right now, the degree just says you went to the same place for 4 years or 2 years, and you're able to wake up in the morning, right? It doesn't say much else than that.
Yes.
Whereas skills shows like that you actually know how to do the job. In looking at your website before, we spoke today, it seems that a lot of what you do is around the apprenticeship, which to me is hands-on training. Would love to hear
Yes.
more about that.
Absolutely. Apprenticeship is really at the core of our model at OpenClassrooms. We're a big believer in apprenticeship. So first of all, like, what is apprenticeship? What is the difference between apprenticeship and internship or co-ops and so on? So essentially, an apprenticeship is a work and study program. So that means that you're going to be working, typically with OpenClassrooms, you're going to be working at an employer for 4 days a week, and you're going to be trained for 1 day a week. Typical program will last for 12 months. So you'll be on the job, learning the job, and being trained on the same job. So take, cybersecurity. We talked about that. You can be hired as an apprentice, as a cyber security analyst at junior level, works 4 days a week, be trained 1 day a week. You're trained with online courses, with projects, one-on-one mentorship. You get college credits. You get a degree at the end. And from day one of your program, you're hired and you get paid. The training costs of this program are sponsored by the employer. So it means that for you as an apprentice, as a student, you don't have to pay anything. It's debt-free. You get a degree, and actually you're getting paid while you study. So the first reaction usually by candidates is, it's too good to be true.
Hold on. I gotta
like,
jump in, Pierre. I have to jump in. I never jump in, Darius. You know that. But you got to say that one more time for the people in the back. Say it again. Just say it again, Pierre, please.
So for candidates, for students, an apprenticeship, is debt-free. You don't have to pay anything. So you access college education for free, debt-free, get a degree. You work while you learn. So that means you get paid. You have wages, and you don't have any tuition fees. So that's the model behind apprenticeship degrees, apprenticeship leading to degrees, that what we do. We offer you a job from day one, and then you learn on the job as well. You get degrees and so on. So it's really powerful. We've seen that model developed and grow significantly in Europe. And a few years ago, we started also delivering on that in the States. And now this year, we became accredited, which means that on top of apprenticeship, we offer a degree. So you can get a bachelor's degree through an apprenticeship while working at Cisco or Merck, and you're paid studying.
It's fantastic, right? The alternative is take on student debt, take out private and federal loans, and hope that you could out earn your debt service and ultimately pay off your debt. Too many people are not able to do that. So it's a great alternative. Could you talk a little about what kind of living wage or rates the apprentices earn while doing the work study?
Attention.
Let's talk for a second. Higher ed is moving fast, and not everything we're doing is keeping pace. Either you move with the future, or you get left behind. Insights EDU is where leaders find out what actually works. February 17th to 19th in Fort Lauderdale. Register at insightsedu.com.
Attention.
It's time to register for Lucian Live, April 19th through 22nd, 2026 in Denver, Colorado, advancing infinite possibilities. And it's higher education without limits. Don't just keep up with change, lead it. Higher ed leaders from around the world are coming together at Lucian Live 2026. Across 4 unforgettable days, you'll discover new ways to meet students where they are and make the most of your technology through inspiring sessions and hands-on demos. Together, we're leveraging AI to create deeper human connections, support every student's journey, and open doors to lifelong learning. See you in Denver. Register now at elive.elucian.com.
It depends on the qualification of the level of education, obviously, like associate, bachelor, master's, and on the states, because it can be regulated. But broadly, we're going to talk about $15 to $25 an hour. So those are, not the full-time position, salary, but it's still like we have, apprentices making like 40K, 50K, while they study, which is like pretty amazing when you think about it, compared to the alternative, which is you're making 0 and you're paying 50K for your bachelor's. So it's a very big gap. Obviously, the next thing is we need to make sure that programs are aligned to employers' needs. And there are, many degree programs and universities and colleges where you paid, 150K, 200K for your degree, you're in debt, and at the end, you graduate and you look for a job, and maybe you don't find a job, or maybe this job is paid 60K, and then how are you going to pay back like a 200K loan with that? The alignment to career prospects and employers' needs is, say, imperfect. With apprenticeship, it is super aligned because the employer hires you from day one. I can tell you, you're not going to be hired if it's not 100% aligned to their needs. So they know that the curriculum, the program, the training that we offer is aligned to their needs. Otherwise, they're not going to hire you. So the alignment is just perfect.
And then your Open Classrooms is acquiring the employer relationships. So when the learner comes in, that apprenticeship is already set up for them?
Yes. So we do the employer relationship exactly. So we start from job offers and job postings, and we essentially contact a lot of employers to try and convince them of the value of apprenticeship. It especially works well on jobs in high demand where there's a talent shortage, and we bring this alternative way of building a talent pipeline. Investing in the local community and the local workforce, bringing new talent that will be more loyal, because apprentices tend to stay for a longer period of time and to be more efficient and productive compared to a college graduate. On average, salary is slightly higher for apprentices than for college graduates, and retention rate is also better for employers. So it's a great way to build a really powerful talent pipeline for employers.
So that's interesting. So the average salary is higher afterwards. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you take the same degree program in kind of the more traditional way versus through an apprenticeship, at the end, the two graduates will have a slight salary gap in favor of apprenticeship because they'll have gained this professional experience that made them more valuable on the job market.
So I would that is super interesting to me, because while I sit here and we have our conversation, I try and take the mindset of the typical adult learner who has to choose which path to take. And if I had to find an argument, if I had to manufacture an argument against the apprenticeship, I would say, well, I don't want to get underpaid while I'm learning. And to that, now I'm hearing, well, you might get underpaid now, but when you actually graduate and when you're in the real job market, statistically, you're going to make more than the guy who didn't scoff at the idea of taking the apprenticeship.
Absolutely. And keep in mind that, again, the alternative is you get paid 0. what you studied. So I would argue that $20 an hour is better.
No, I agree. I agree. Is the educational program itself from day one to graduation, is it longer because of the apprenticeship process, or did you find a way to wrap that into the learning modules?
Excellent question. And no, it's not longer. It's actually accelerated. Um, and the trick here is that the on-the-job training, so the 4 days a week, actually lead to college credits. So the work that you do during the 4 days a week is recognized as college education. So we managed to structure that so you can get college credits out of it. So in a nutshell, over the course of 12 months, you're going to work, say, like 50 weeks, 35, 40 hours a week. That's a lot of clock hours compared to a college year at university where, you have few terms and maybe you have like 15 hours, 20 hours of class a week. That's many more clock hours. So in a way, it's accelerated because those clock hours will be converted to college credits. So this way, you can get 2 years of university credits in 12 months. So it's condensed and accelerated. So now it's not longer, it's actually slightly shorter.
Damn, you're poking holes into every attack, every argument I have against it. So what about then the adult learner? I keep saying adult learner, but is your clientele, are they more the 18-year-olds or are they more the 24 to 34-year-olds? And then and by way of explanation why I'm asking that question, when I do mention the adult learner, I tend to mention the group of people that in the US, if you go straight from high school to college or even take a gap year, you're 18 or 19 when you enter college, and then you're 21, 22, maybe even 23 when you leave. For everyone else, I consider that the adult learner. Like, for whatever reason, you didn't do the 4 years straight through. So now you're 24 and above and considering whether to finish or return to your education.
So we have both, but the average age is mid-30s. So it means that we have a lot of like career switchers and folks who, work for a few years, did not really have like a college degree or did not complete a degree. And probably they're either unemployed, underemployed, or work like a $15 an hour job. And they want to, get to the next stage, and they realize like they need proper training to do that, to have a more qualified, better paying job. That's why they do an apprenticeship with us. We also have younger adults, also seeing that as a great way to access college education because they couldn't do it otherwise. But yeah, we have both.
I love that. And then how did how do they find you? And maybe I was ignorant to this because I learned of OpenClassrooms and what you're doing is awesome from this pod. But at 15 years, is it that they're just coming to you now, or do you have certain strategies that you use?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a good question. So we do online marketing. We work with local community colleges, universities, workforce boards, community-based organizations in kind of the workforce space. But yeah, for example, in California, we work with the system of community colleges, with Bakersfield Community College, with Long Beach, El Camino, etc. And we build apprenticeship programs with them, meaning that we actually use their communication channels to enroll their students and graduates within their community. It's a great way also to do the employer outreach, since the local community college brand is also known in that region. So we work hand in hand with more traditional higher education institutions.
So that's brilliant. And then you get to tap into their networks, and I assume their students get to tap into your apprenticeships. And now,
Exactly.
rather than competing with other colleges, you're living in the same ecosystem for the most part.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't see ourselves as competitors to colleges. We partner with them to bring something new to the market, which we call apprenticeship degrees. And it's usually something that they haven't really done, or they don't really have like the capacity to build apprenticeship. You need in the States, you need to be registered. You need like certain type of compliance. You need to build curriculum. We need to build employers outreach, the matchmaking. There's a recruitment process in there. It's quite complicated. So colleges usually struggle to start or scale apprenticeship programs. So that's when we come to play.
That's awesome. I love this. I talk to adult learners all the time. They care about the career. They care about a return on investment on education. You're almost making it risk-free and like win-win. Like learn, work, earn, and even get a pay jump
Exactly.
after you graduate.
Yeah, you got it. So I think on the student side, it's really straightforward. The goal now is we need to convince more employers. We need to convince more employers to hire apprentices. So we need to get the word out to explain the value of apprenticeships to businesses. Why does it matter? How is that going to create value to their business? More top line, more sales, more margins, more profits, more productivity, higher retention rate. So this is really like the challenge with scaling apprenticeship is convincing employers at a larger scale.
So that's what I was struggling to think like what the downside is or what's the constraint to world domination. And now I'm asking the question after you already gave the answer, but it seems to me that your constraint to world domination is colleges love it, students love it, adult learners love it. It's the employers that they're the bottleneck of getting them on board into this.
Yeah, they don't know about it usually, or they don't really like understand the model, the difference between apprenticeships and internships, don't necessarily know the value. Once they try it, they love it. But you need to be there, do the outreach, explain the model, and it works best when you come on a very specific business need. I need to hire a data analyst. I can't find this person right now. Okay, here we are. We have 3 talents right now. You can interview and they can learn that job through an apprenticeship. And this is already like fully covered end to end. Would you like to meet them?
And so the employer is going to say, and maybe the answer is you work with a certain type of employee, but I could imagine the employer saying, I don't want to train them. I need them to come in and solve my problem for me.
We're going to train them for you. We bring the training, we bring the mentorship, we do the reporting, we build the curriculum. We understand your needs in terms of your job posting, your job descriptions, the skills behind that. We're going to do it all. You just need to interview them and then get started. We do it all. So it's a
And
turnkey solution to employers.
and then does the employer, this may be too technical for a pod, but like I'm fascinated by this. Does the employer pay OpenClassrooms as like the agency of record or?
So we are not the employer of record.
Yeah.
The employer is. So it's not on our payroll, it's on theirs. But the question is a good one, actually. Will they pay? And actually, this is where it works best when we leverage some sort of public funding. So we work with states, for example, or cities and workforce boards, and they sponsor training costs. So in quite a few states, actually, we can go and talk to employers and tell them training costs are already covered. It's costless. In other regions, we can even go beyond that and offer salary funding and say for the first 6 months, you're going to have 50% of their salary offset already. So it's really low ball and financially really interesting and compelling to employers.
So that's the real, so it's more than a two-sided marketplace. That's where now you're bringing the workforce boards or the state
Yes,
budgets to subsidize the salary.
exactly.
All right, now I do understand why I have 200 team members. A lot of
Exactly.
pieces. There's a lot of
It's
pieces
a
to
lot of
this.
pieces. It's a complex model, so it's hard to build because you need to, have kind of a B2C branch with all students and candidates, the marketing, the learning, the teaching, the accreditation. So we're running a online college that is accredited. And then you need to sell to businesses. So it's a B2B go-to-market workforce, and then you need to also work with governments at several levels: federal level, state level, county level. Super complex, but we make it simple to employers and students.
Awesome. Yeah, it's it takes a village.
Yes.
So let's talk. Let's go back to the adult learner. They want to take a course. They want to get certified. What's the more popular trends you're seeing right now? Cyber, IT, marketing, AI. Like, what are the hot in demand jobs?
Tech and IT jobs were really hot like 5 years ago, and actually entry level jobs in tech decreased in the past 2 years, notably because of AI. Like the impact of AI really like kind of displaced a little bit those entry level positions. There's still some subcategories within tech, like cyber, data, AI, still digital marketing, still strong. Now we see other categories like sales and business development still strong. I think will ever be strong because, every single business needs good salespeople. You see also like healthcare. Healthcare is really hot. Like there's such a huge need for like nurses, medical assistants, pharmacy techs, vet techs, etc. Huge needs in healthcare. You see also manufacturing jobs, energy jobs, construction jobs, some kind of white collar transversal jobs like HR, accounting, finance, that kind of stuff. So we're really like starting from job postings and employers' needs. We analyze the job market in real time, and then where there's a need, we build a curriculum.
I love it. Are you involved in healthcare training? That's an area that I see a tremendous amount of interest in on social media.
Yes, we are. So we started building healthcare curriculum on allied jobs in healthcare. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, Darius, I got to jump in. We're coming up on time, but I do want to say, sorry. I know you got a bunch because this is like fascinating, right? I do want to say that, Pierre, when you mentioned a public benefit company, boy, did you really explain that throughout this conversation. I just kept saying, hence public benefit company, hence public benefit company.
Exactly.
That's why they're
Yes.
public benefit companies. So I get that. I
You're
love
right.
that. Yeah. All right. So here's last question for you, Pierre. What do you see as the future of higher education?
It's an excellent question. I see two things. One is the impact of AI. We touched it, but it's massive on jobs and skills. It is really accelerating the change of many jobs. And I think right now, every single person should learn AI skills, like basic AI skills, no matter which fields, sector, market, organizations they're in. So we injected AI skill training in every single curriculum. Everybody at OpenClassrooms needs to learn AI, no matter what the job is. So super important. AI is also an amazing tool for us as an educational provider to personalize curriculum. So now we can adapt the curriculum in real time to the needs of each individual. And that's new. Before we couldn't do that. So the customization, personalization of education is really, really exciting. And I would finish on apprenticeship because I'm such a big believer in apprenticeship. I think right now you see this pressure on the traditional higher education system where, we talked about like student debt, misalignment to careers and jobs and employers' needs. There is something to fix there, right? And at the same time, employers, have like those huge talent shortages on so many jobs. Apprenticeship degrees solve both problems at the same time, and I think that's really, really fantastic. I'm a big believer. I do think that apprenticeship degrees will become really big and will actually eat up a part of the higher education / workforce development market, and we've seen that in actually quite a few markets. In France, where I'm from, when I studied, apprenticeship was not really a thing at university level. It was a thing to become a plumber or a carpenter, and that's it. You couldn't like get a degree through an apprenticeship. Now, at graduate level, 25% of students, graduate students, are on an apprenticeship. 25%. So that's a massive change. You have like literally 1 million apprentices at a given time in a country like France. So you see that change, and I think that change is happening right now in the US.
Well, you made me a believer, man. Apprenticeship all the way, dude. Where can people contact you, Pierre? People say, I want to hang out with Pierre. I want to work. I want to partner with him.
Please do. Obviously, you can learn more about Open Classrooms on openclassrooms.com. You can contact me on LinkedIn, Pierre Dubuc, DUBUC, and you can email me also. It's pierre@openclassrooms.com. So it's pretty simple.
Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much. A great conversation. First thing, the outro. My co-host, who has very inquisitive questions, as always, Darius Goldman, founder and CEO at Career Bond. Thank you as always, Darius.
Awesome, Elvin. Thank you. And Pierre, it was great. It was great chatting with you. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Me too. Thank you so much, guys.
This was fun. Let me outro you. He is Pierre Dubuc, and he is co-founder and CEO of Open Classrooms. Pierre, thank you so very much for being with us, man. This was awesome. Appreciate you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you've just EdUp'd.
Let's go
to insightsedu.com. Remember that URL, because let's be honest, how much of what you're doing at work right now is actually working? It's time to inject fresh ideas and effective strategies. And Insights EDU is for these leaders that want to see results. The conversations are direct, the sessions are outstanding, and the people in the room are there to solve real problems, not protect the status quo. Insights EDU 2026 is February 17 to 19 in Fort Lauderdale. No fluff, no recycled playbooks, just what works now. Register today at insightsedu.com. Ellucian Live 2026 is taking place April 19th through 22nd, 2026 in Denver, Colorado. Advancing infinite possibilities. Turn innovation into action with AI-powered solutions, student-first strategies, and a global network of fellow leaders at Ellucian Live 2026, higher education's premier global technology conference. It's going to be
amazing.